So when I was a little kid, I hated my little sister. I played with my brother pretty good, but my sister and I didn't get along. And it hasn't really gotten any better. She wouldn't let me borrow any clothes and stuff, and she put my Angora sweater and washed it when we were kids. She lived with my mom after the divorce, and she went to high school. They had a nice house, and so she didn't really suffer too much. I'd gone off to college. I had eating disorder. She didn't really have much to do with my grandparents on my dad's side. I got all that attention, so maybe she was jealous. She got married to a doctor, and they bought a big house in Morgantown, and I went up to see her. She had a cleaning lady she complained about. I hated it. It was like, why are you telling me? Why don't you tell her? So she might have boundary problems. So I told her to buy the farm. I said, I don't care about the money, because I guess part of it's my inheritance. I said, I don't care, just be good to keep it so we don't have to sell it. My aunt wanted to move away from the farm. It's really gotten kind of dicey though. She's kind of taken my kids after my mom died. She quit. Well, one time I was out there and she kicked me out of the house and I hitchhiked home. I met this really nice guy, David Reynolds, at the Ducks Corner, and he gave me a ride home. It was really nice of him. Prius, Dave. And but then like my mom had cancer and we went to her house for graduation from my daughter's community college graduation, and I brought up the fact that Mac's husband's an alcoholic and my boyfriend at the time was a heroin addict. And she screamed, and then I was just standing there. They're like, get out of the house, get out of the house. And I was like, it's real. It's true. It's not to be ugly. It's just something I'm going through. And she came over and she grabbed my wrists and bruised them like she was going to put me in handcuffs. And before that, the guy I was dating, he appears to be okay, but he has a heroin problem. And she told him, she goes, we have to control her. I mean, I'm an artist. That's a good luck. I mean, if I get a creative idea, man, I'm doing it. I'm going to try it out. If that means driving to California, it means driving to California or driving to the Gates Foundation. It's not a bad thing. So she could be considered kind of controlling. She's got arthritis really bad, and I've read that sometimes if you're really controlling, the inflammation can cause arthritis from the stress. But the most recent thing she's done past 2-3 years is had family dinners out at the farm. It's a nice little farmette. It's like a 5-acre. She also added a $40,000 addition to this already huge farmhouse, so she'd have a kitchen. I think she's controlling of the food for some reason, like she wants to. And then she complained to me about fracking, and I'm like looking at her brand new 6-burner gas stove. Her husband built her a pond. It's pretty good sandy beach pond, but she doesn't like it there. And so she got an apartment in Lynchburg to take the kids to school there. I mean, I know families that have too much money for their own good, and this is kind of one of those situations. And I think her husband does a lot of, well, I know he kind of likes me, I guess because I'm an artist and she's pretty uptight. She's very uptight, doesn't relax. And maybe she should drink. Maybe drinking would help her. But, so maybe she's jealous her husband likes me. I like him too, but it's her husband, and there are certain boundaries that me and Kent don't cross in matrimony. And one time at the wellness center, she walked up. I was standing there talking to Kit on the elliptical, and she just lifted her shirt up and showed him her belly button. I was like, he just has that kind of effect on women. He made my knees go weak one time. I was like, what the fuck? I was trying to get out of town, and I couldn't push the gas pedal on my car. He had just said, what are you doing later? And I was like, I was at the mall. I was like, I'm busy. So, yeah, no, she's had my kids out for Christmas, and I don't know. I think she's pretty much convinced him that I'm crazy. It's funny how people don't have a very long memory. That just a 10 years ago, I was having her out to my house for pig roasts and parties in the farm. But now she's got this power thing, and power corrupts. And She's very controlling. She also took all my alimony. I was getting some alimony from my ex-husband to pay my rent, and she got control of it. Now she's dictating every penny that's spent to all my kids, and my kids look at her like, oh, she's so stable, she's a millionaire. And I look how unethical she is. And my mom's been dead 2 years and 3 years now, and that's money corrupts. It corrupts, and she's spoiled. She's very spoiled. She doesn't appreciate what she has, and she doesn't know. She did come into one of my art openings, and I had her show a painting. But the amount of stress I've been through, especially after she took that alimony, is unprecedented. And then she tells my dad that I'm really crazy, and I don't know what they discuss. They're pretty racist too. They don't like black people. But basically, my condition has deteriorated to a point that there's nothing they can do to help me. So they're okay with me being homeless, basically, living at my friend's house. Oh, I'll get her. I mean, this is a long-term chess game, but I'm ahead. She just doesn't know I'm ahead because she's got so much money, she can't see anything straight. I remember her doing her fingernails, and she had supposedly going to help me a little money-wise through my father on my old apartment, and she keeps forgetting to send the check. And I took her some CDs, and I mailed her a book, and she's lost them. And I'd put the painting up of my family in my mother's room when she was dying, and I went in there, and they had taken it down. And because I've had an outer-body experience, and I know I flew out of my body and I looked around, that I think that's what happens when you die. I think you go out as a collective spirit, and you look at things. And I wanted Mom to see that painting. But troubled family relations. And I think actually what the problem is, I got so much counseling that even though I have bipolar, I've got a pretty good mental set in my mind for healthy and boundaries and relationships and stuff like that. And I'm sorry I'm not making money. Sometimes artists, it took E. Cummings till he was 60 to be self-supported. He relied on his family and friends to help him monetarily. Richmond's such a backbiting little city. It's just such a small town. They can't begin to understand the world preschool movement. And I know that. And there are a few people that do. My architects, no problem. Mr. Neptune, oh yeah. So you just have to not get caught in a downward spiral of negativity because of what other people are trying to do. You just keep on with your plan, and you don't let other people stop you. And even though my sister's trying her hardest, you kill what you can't control. She's trying to kill me. Oh yeah, with no money, no, she doesn't care at all. So I want to move her to Charlottesville where she can be with other people like herself.